white cloaks in right?
It's done. Yes, Mr. Frodo. It's over now.
As has become tradition at this point, I can now report to you that the Wheel of Time season finale is a rushed, disastrous catastrophe that is both blasphemous as an adaptation and incoherent as a standalone story. And since we don't want the evil of this taint on Robert Jordan's legacy to ever be unleashed upon the world again, I'm teaming up with Lady Balefire to seal Ragenor's creation in the Dark One's prison once and for all.
We start the episode 10 years in the past in the 13th depository. You remember, that place nobody was ever supposed to know about, and that's why the Black Sister prisoners were held there? Elida has just come out of the red door Tarrying Grill. She's staring at her charm bracelet, the one that was prominently displayed back in episode 3 when she had the shakes. Yeah, that one. With 2 close-ups, you think we'd be ready to fire Chekhov's gun, right?
So wrong.
She's smiling because the Aelfin just told her she's going to be the Amerlin, and she tells Alviarin that's why she should vote for her. Yeah, because the Finn are totally known for their honesty. Back in the hall of the tower, we meet the old keeper, who is apparently being played by Bill Romanowski, and man.
You have to work a little harder on your transition.
Anyway, I normally wouldn't mention this kind of a thing, but in a work where the main theme is gender complementarianism and the magic system is based on biological sex, just what the actual fuck? It's time to pick a new Amerlin, and it's a toss-up between Chiwan and Elida, and the sitters vote for Chiwan.
But the people are retarded.
We know that Chiwan was elected, so what's the point of this scene? It's like that part in The Great Train Robbery where they have to show the passengers being robbed because nobody had ever made a movie before, and the producers weren't sure the audience would understand what happened if they saw the robbers with a bunch of loot. Yeah, they think we're that stupid. 122 years of film development have been wasted on these Philistines.
Back in the present, Leanne asks Siwan what the plan is. Great question. We're at the end of Season 3 and Siwan has done nothing to assist the Dragon Reborn, and we spent the first 5 minutes of the season finale focusing on White Tower politics that happened back when Rand still thought the girls had cooties. Speaking of Rand, he's back in the dead girl's garden picking vegetables in order to make up for the fact that he killed her. He's on the verge of tears, and Aguain appears to be absolutely horrified that she let this man put his penis in her. Rand finally stops crying long enough for Aguain to tell him that a different set of women now need to tell him what to do. In the meantime, Moraine talks shit to Samael. I can't wait to see Rand finally get some training from a Forsaken like in the book. Won't that be neat?
I'm gonna tell him.
Don't you dare.
Hottie Sedai is stroking the Balefire dildo, and the angry lesbian is mad because she thinks that only she should be allowed to hold the Balefire dildo. I am always immensely impressed that this show is totally comfortable mentioning world-shattering plot elements 9 minutes before they plan to utilize them. Matt and Nynaeve are eating noodles at a random restaurant when the Dark Sisters are walking by. There does not appear to be a single plot element of this show that does not run on pure random happenstance. They're not even outside the manor that they spent a good chunk of episode 6 trying to find. Leandrin just walks by. Leandrin then arrives at the Panarch's palace, which doesn't remotely look like a palace once inside, and the show hasn't introduced what a Panarch is, so we're just crushing it here. She opens the giant scroll to remind the audience again what they are doing. This has been done literally a dozen times by now, but her reading is interrupted by some guards, who she then uses the bullet insta-kill weave to kill all 4 at once. I cannot emphasize enough how much having an insta-kill bullet weave makes the rest of this episode look retarded. Every character should be spamming this shit.
It turns out the Wise Ones need Rand to bait Lanfair and Tel'aran'rhiod, and their idea is for Rand to break up with her so that she will come kill Rand and everyone can jump her ass. The reason Rand provides is that Lanfair was mean to Aguain. Rand witnessed Lanfair massacre an entire population of the Foregate like Dick Cheney with a blank check and a Raytheon contract. He's seen her arrange 2 different attacks on him and his friends, and that false flag that Moraine set up, and the attack by Samael. And he's known she's a Forsaken since season 2 when he was fucking her to pay the rent. But the thing that breaks him is that she's mean to Aguain. Aguain is truly Rafe's favorite princess. Speaking of, it's Aguain that shows up to attack Lanfair and kick her out of Rand's dream with her resting bitch face. It's been 2 days since Aguain got beat up by Lanfair in her own dream, and now she's more powerful than the most powerful female Forsaken, even in Rand's dream. Is there nothing this bitch can't do? We're 2 weeks away from her single-handedly wiping out the Dark One. Rand wakes up with Aguain and is surrounded by the League of Incompetent Gentlewomen and is worried Lanfair's coming for him, forgetting that Moraine has helped Lanfair attack him in the past. Somebody, please, give me one good reason why Rand shouldn't grab the Sarkin and yeet her ass. In a surprise to absolutely no one, Lanfair doesn't show up. Was the entire point of this to crown Aguain again? We then find out that Melindra is a dark friend and has been working with Lanfair all along. To what end? Why? What was her great plan? I don't think she knows, and neither do the showrunners, who seem to have reworked a character just to degrade and ruin Lan.
Navienda then tells Aguain that Rand ain't shit and she needs to break up with him. No matter what world you're living in, the threes are always telling their 6 friends that a guy isn't good enough for them. Lan and Moraine then talk, and I cannot emphasize enough how deeply unserious this show is. After the 900th fake-out death and the absolute slobbering that this show has done over Rosamund Pike's metaphorical cock, the idea that this show is about to kill off Moraine is the most absurd thing it's asked me to believe since it wanted me to buy that a living, breathing person is sexually attracted to Ayula Smart. Finally, the traveling buffoons arrive at El Dal, and I cannot begin to describe how absolutely ridiculous this shit looks. They have this huge booming music, and then they show El Dal, and it's literally just some rock. What happened to the asteroid crater, you absolute nitwits? Across the way, the Shido are planning to attack the Tardod when Lanfair shows up and decides the best way to make sure that Rand isn't declared the Karakarn is not to attack the patrol on the way to El Dal when it's exposed, but is actually to make Couladin the Karakarn. But Lanfair also seems to forget that she put this scheme into motion as soon as she walks out of this tent, so fuck it, I guess.
Back in Tanchico, the Fucktard Five arrive at the House of Black and White from Game of Thrones. Nynaeve warns the team that only Forsaken could have wiped their minds and taken the bracelets, so they need to be careful. Nynaeve has apparently established herself to be a master of obscure mind magics.
I'm not following the logic here.
It makes sense if you don't think about it.
Lianjin prowls through the palace with Nynaeve on her heels, and all I can think of is that part in The Matrix about not looking at the woman in the red dress, which in movie talk translates to something that distracts from the main plot. How apropos. Dumb and Dumber then stumble upon the basement from Night at the Museum, and Tom and Elaine find Leandrin's handiwork, and the only thing good about this scene is the cat.
How did she die?
Cats ate her face.
Elaine pulls some Hermione bullshit and figures out how they can find the collar using delving, a skill we're just hearing about now. How convenient! Probably would have been a good thing to introduce last season when Aguain got collared and the Shan-Chan figured out that that was her superpower like in the book. Tom and Elaine yammer about her childhood and how long Lord Gabriel has been around when Haughty Sedai shows up with her big black balefire rod and finally says something book accurate.
Morgaze has always been a whore.
She tries to balefire Elaine and Tom, but the rod goes wonky like a 95-pound woodman trying to shoot a large caliber rifle.
Matt and Min then poke around the Room of Requirement when Matt casually walks through the twisted redstone doorway. Is every single relevant character moment in this show going to be a result of pure randomness? Remember when Matt intentionally made choices? He pops up on the other side, and this
Nightmare fuel
is waiting on him. I don't even know how to describe this fucker. Like if the live-action Cats developed a meth addiction? Like Kelsey Grammer's beast-impregnated Carrot Top? Like Pennywise the Clown and Ziggy Stardust got blended up in a Starbucks drink? Genuinely, if you had not read the books, what was your first reaction to this thing? I would have assumed the mushrooms on my pizza got swapped out for the fun kind. Min is understandably confused, but not half as confused as the audience. She runs and hides from this dark sister, then pulls out another fucking scroll to see Matt hanging from the doorway. I genuinely do not know how you make television like this. Can you imagine if in The Wire, Stringer Bell had to check his text messages every 10 minutes to remind the audience that he's a drug dealer in Baltimore? Nynaeve then is hiding from Liandrin, and then Liandrin walks in, goes directly up to the box holding the collar, and passes right over it because she's expecting it to be fucking shoulder pads and not a cock ring for Alana's dildo. This adds an extra layer of irony. That means if Nynaeve had not found this dumb bracelet and started carrying it around, Liandrin never would have found it. Our good guys are so incompetent that the world would have better outcomes if the bad guys were allowed to simply operate unopposed. It is incredible.
Tom and Elaine hide from Hadi Sedai. Elaine asks Tom who he is.
I am your father.
Tom tells her to run, then he ruins his own sneak attack. Hadi monologues, tries to shoot him, and misses because reasons. Tom then tries to ruin Elaine's sneak attack, but Elaine succeeds despite this and pops her ass with the one power. She then catches the rod out of the air like it's a cheerleader's baton and kills Hadi Sedai. Rip Queen. For some reason, the rod has no kickback when Elaine uses it.
So we're back to the Abomination and Matt talking to each other. Matt wishes to stop getting screwed around by magic users, which gets him the Foxhead Medallion. Matt then wishes away the memories in his head, so... hey, quick question. You know he needs those, right? He needs to become the greatest general in the history of Randland? You can't go the opposite direction. You can't make Matt less competent than he already is. Matt then wishes to escape. He ends up hanging from the Ashendarai, pinned to the doorway, and Min then cuts him down after bonking the Yellow Sister in the head. Hey, remember how Elida just casually walked out of the doorway in Tarvalon? Did the demonic furrykin practice DEI? Why are they trying to murder Matt, but not her?
Outside of the palace, Nynaeve doesn't take her own advice and stands around with the collar in a bag, looking like a teenager that just swipes some mascara from Walgreens. Yes, Liandrin was right. She should have left. But then we wouldn't be able to see how pointless the whole multi-season redemption arc of Liandrin was. Our favorite Red then conjures some heavy iron chains out of nowhere, ties them around Nynaeve, takes the collar, and then throws her into the bay and leaves her to drown. Didn't this bitch just take out a whole mess of guards using the shot to the head weave? These are Looney Tunes villains. Nynaeve's chain is super loose, and she should be able to escape, so maybe this is the producers being casually racist by implying black people can't swim. This is easily one of my favorite parts of the books. A woman who is an insufferable bitch has a near-death experience, completely surrendering as she's drowning, breaks her block, and frees herself from the wreckage of a bale-fired boat. Then her true love fishes her out of the river, and she embraces her power as an Aes Sedai and realizes her place is by landside. Like channeling Sidar, it's a story about the strength found in the choice to surrender. So yeah, it's completely ridiculous that the thing that saves her here is her non-existent daughter from her accepted test. I'm really glad it wasn't Lan because he's off in the waste crying. This should be a huge moment, but it's a complete letdown full of relaxing vocal music, like what would have happened if Moses had done a bunch of downers before parting the Red Sea.
We're then back to the waste, and Melindra apparently got married based on the dot on her forehead, and she is going to sneak up and assassinate Lan, but she can't do it. Apparently, she swore her dark oaths to save Melchior, which seems like a dumb concept considering that the entity she was swearing the oaths to was also the entity that was destroying Melchior, but okay. But also, Melchior is gone, dog. We saw it in Season 1, remember? There were 5 towers that looked like literal piles of dog shit. Why are you still on this team? They didn't hold up their end of the bargain. I also have no idea why Lanfair wants to kill Lan of all people and not Aguain or Moraine or anybody else. Nor do I know why she chose Melindra to do this. Isn't that the last person you would choose? Also, Lan objecting to Melindra breaking her dark oaths is just the saddest shit.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Anyway, she dissolves in a Movie Maker 95 smoke effect, and that's the end of Melindra. Sure am glad we got that character. We then cut to Rand and Moraine, who are chilling. Moraine tells Rand he was right to come to the Aiel Waste, which seems premature. He then accuses her of working with Lanfair on the false flag attack in episode 1. I guess he figured it out based on his breakup scene with Lanfair? Rand is being smart? Wow, out of nowhere. Well, I guess Rand has to kill Moraine now, except that, oh no, she seems extremely casual about this. No. He then says this line.
All this time, the only person who's always been there who's never left me is you.
Which is absolutely batshit insane. She notably did not even try to find him when she lost him in Season 1. She just trundled on to Tar-Valon to make out with Chiwan. In Season 2, they didn't even find each other until Episode 4. They have most notably not been together. This is insane person talk. He then tries to tell her that she has not been using him, which is apparently too much for Rosamund Pike to handle because she assures Rand that she actually has been using him and is prepared to kill him if she feels he is out of pocket. Also, apparently, they are the only two who feel like this? What? That is patently false. He then thanks her. He knows she coordinated a false flag attack against his friends, including getting Nynaeve filleted, and he's thanking her. He just had a massive freak-out moment about the dead girl that he accidentally killed, that Moraine knew about and didn't warn him of. Motherfucking what? Is he an abused wife making excuses for her husband? You know a woman wrote this episode when she's writing the male character, thanking the woman character for manipulating him and putting his friends in danger. Not a man alive would react like this. What the hell?
Varen goes rushing off to find Galena and the 7 dumbasses, and Galena tells her, duh, it's a trap to keep you out of the tower. I honestly don't think Varen is a dark friend in this show, and that's sad. Thanks for butchering yet another character, Raginor. Back at the tower, mean girl Elida is in charge, and she tells Chiwan she's been deposed. Elida accuses her of being a dark friend, working with the Shadow to hide the dragon from the tower. Oh, what? I'm not even gonna waste brain cells trying to make sense of this trash. Leonie gets hit with what I'm guessing is a shield, and Chiwan gets kebabbed with icicles while Elida stills her. Back in Tanchico, Leandrin sees a spider, so that means our favorite glue sniffer is back. Somehow Leandrin knows Moggy is there, and that Moggy looks just like her servant, which is weird because she's literally been there the whole time. Leandrin attempts to kiss her ass by telling Moggy that she can be Moggy's servant when Moggy becomes nameless. How does Leandrin know what nameless is? Don't know, don't care. Their story ends with a mutual confession that they don't work well with others, and I can hardly wait for the shippers to get their dirty black fingers on that one.
Lanfair and Robin then get together and talk over Samael's fucked up corpse. The glue sniffers on Twitter complaining about the colorism of this show and the unnecessarily brutal death of Chiwan can fuck off. Samael got it way worse. Rand then arrives in El Kayar Dal, and the lack of scale in this show kills me sometimes. But they arrive, and Couladin is apparently in the process of being pitched for Kara Karn. Excellent timing on that arrival. Rand goes to confront Couladin while Moraine makes a giant-ass dome for some reason I cannot figure out. Rand goes to confront Couladin on stage, and they give competing speeches. I'm not going to lie, if I'm voting for Couladin. Populist rhetoric does way better in a democracy than insults and promises of hardship. Also, Rand's dragon tattoos look absolutely absurd. I can't laugh enough at the Aiel managing to form this clean divide while arguing about this shit. Be serious, show. So Couladin then just fucks off with the rest of the Shido Aiel following him, I guess is what this scene is trying to convey. So then Rand does a weird breakdance and makes it rain? I'm not sure why exactly. Couladin and the rest of the Aiel who don't believe him have already fucked off, so he's just preaching to the choir for no reason. But I guess he had to do something at the end of the season since Moraine is going to be taking all the cool stuff.
While Rand is giving his big political speech, a bloody Chiwan gets dragged in front of Elida, and what follows is the thesis of this entire mockery of Robert Jordan's life work. Elida asks Chiwan to tell him the truth, and who would guess? Chiwan is in love with Moraine, and she died to protect her. If you look at this show as New Spring fan fiction written by a gay man with mommy issues, it all begins to make sense. Maxim stealing Perrin's thunder. Everyone is gay, just like Rafe promised, and the main focus of the show is a bunch of ugly middle-aged women making everyone's life miserable.
Meanwhile, Lanfair blasts Moraine from behind and she starts choking her out. Hey, remember the magic bullet weave? But then Lan comes out of nowhere, like not even hiding, just walks on screen like it's a stage play. Lanfair looks up, which apparently affects her grip strength because Moraine then grabs the Sarkonnen and blasts Lanfair. Hey, remember the magic bullet weave? So Moraine and Lanfair are fighting and Lan takes a run at Lanfair and literally misses. She doesn't even channel or block it, she just ducks. This buffoon goes sailing over her head just because he's less athletic than Lanfair. Lanfair doesn't kill him, instead choosing to block his sword swings. Hey, remember the magic bullet weave? But then Lanfair gets distracted again and Lan cuts her leg and just fucking stands there like a lemming while she heals herself. What the fuck are we doing, people? So Lanfair blasts Lan away. Hey, remember the magic bullet weave? And then Lanfair stabs Moraine with Lan's sword. Hey, fuck it. So then Chiwan gets her head cut off back at the tower, and Moraine feels her oaths release. Why did her oaths release? Did everybody's oaths release? Can all the Aes Sedai who swore on the oath rod while Chiwan was holding it now lie? This seems like a world-breaking plot element. But anyway...
of her life must be dead, causes her to just have a surge of rage and adrenaline against the world that allows her to, in that moment, for the time being, defeat Lanfair.
Really?
And Moraine cuts Lanfair in the neck, so Lanfair travels away. So there were literally 0 consequences for this confrontation. Had Lanfair not come to fight Moraine, nothing would have changed. That's the final fight, the grand capstone to this season, and it didn't matter even a little bit. We get a quick voiceover from Crown of Swords hinting about a next season that will never happen. Then Aguain tells Rand what to do one final time, and that's the episode. There'll be some more videos in the future talking about the season as a whole and how each of the characters managed, but as far as this episode, what a catastrophic bookend to an absolutely unwatchable piece of crap season. How neither Nynaeve nor Rand fought a Forsaken at the end of the Shadow Rising season, but Moraine did, is a perfect encapsulation of what this show manages to produce. Hopefully the door stays closed this time and we never see another minute of this show again.
Walk in the light, boys.